Welcome to the Becoming Eva podcast, where we discuss real life issues from a woman's perspective.
Becoming Eva seeks to break the silence within the female community while fostering authenticity, transparency, and healing.
We're your hosts, Latoya Moore
and Maya Dawson.
Let's get started.
Happy
Saturday.
Yes. Hello, BE community. Hope everyone is doing well. As you can see, we have another amazing guest with us this week. So we're going to dive on into that. But first and foremost, how y'all doing? How's your week going?
I'm ready for Thanksgiving break. That's how my week is going. Yeah. I think I'm at the point where I'm just like exhausted from school, work, just like all the things. I'm almost the semester, the courses that I'm taking, I'm almost finished with all of my assignments. I'm just ready to kind of be like done and like mental break and unwind and relax and have fun.
I love it. It's funny you said Thanksgiving, girl. I'm ready for Christmas break. I sent my polite out of office invite today, like, boom, I'm gonna be out that whole week. They put it on your calendar, make sure you know, because I'm about to shut it down. So yeah. I feel you. 'Tis the season.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. How are you, Lynda? How's your week going?
I'm doing well. Week's going well. Just getting back into the rhythm of things. We were out of town this past weekend. So yeah, it's been good. Nothing much that's been very different. I mean, you said Thanksgiving. I was like, oh, right. Thanksgiving is coming. You know, it's like time is moving so quickly.
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
Man.
Really fast.
We have less than, if you're watching this live, y'all, we have like about 50 days left for the end of the year. It's interesting. Time is moving very fast. So, but technically, I won't say technically, but again, if you're watching this live, we are recording this during the month of November, which is actually National Gratitude Month. Okay. So, of course, in the spirit of Thanksgiving, I love the fact that the entire month has been dedicated to gratitude. So we're definitely going to be unpacking that today. Okay. Before we do, though, I'm going to read Lynda's bio and then we're going to talk what's trending real quick. Okay. So Lynda Carpenter currently works as a licensed professional counselor in private practice located in Sandy Springs, Georgia. She holds a Master of Arts in Clinical Mental Health Counseling from Richmond Graduate University. Prior to starting her private practice, Lynda worked as an outpatient therapist at Peachford Hospital, where she worked with both adolescents and adults. Lynda has a heart for accompanying individuals on their journey as they navigate life's challenges. Her hope is to always create a safe and non-judgmental space that allows people to peel back the layers to uncover their best selves as they embark on the process toward lasting change. Wow, that's a powerful last sentence. I was like, let me take my time on that one. So, thank you for joining us today, Lynda.
Thank you for having me. Glad to be here.
Absolutely. So, y'all, as I mentioned, we're definitely going to be diving into gratitude and really talking about the gift of gratitude, but really, what does it look like to uncover that gift? What does it look like to cultivate that? Okay. But first, we got to talk. What's trending? Okay. So I would say the first thing I want to talk about, I don't know, you may or may not be familiar with actress. Well, I think they go actor now. Actor, comedian, Yvonne Orji. She's actually from Nigeria. And she is a professed Christian, a follower of Christ. And she actually recently did an interview. And this is not new news per se, but I know in previous interviews, she actually shared that she was a virgin, that she was saving herself for marriage. And I think the first time I heard her share this had to have been about 6 or 7 years ago. And so she has not yet married. She's still waiting on her Boaz. Okay. And she was in a recent interview now 7 years later. And the interviewee asked her, are you still, or interviewer asked her, are you still abstinent? Are you still a virgin? And she said, yes. At 39 years old, I'm still a virgin. And it was funny because the interviewer was like, oh, I need to pray for you. And she was like, y'all need to pray for my husband because there's a lot of pent up, aggression in here. So my question is this, in this day and age, of course, we know what God's word says, but we also know the world that we're living in. And we also know just practically and biologically, it becomes challenging as you grow older and, hormones and you hit your peak sex drive at a certain age. It becomes challenging to maintain God's standards. So my question to you both is, what advice would you give a 39-year-old virgin?
We'll let Lynda go first.
I think what I would say, well, I mean, I think it's great that she's not trying to hide that and that she is committed to that. But I would say, make sure you have community. And when I mean community of people who are doing the same thing or have done the same thing.
Yes.
People around you, at least one, even if it's not community, at least one or two women that are around you that get it. And that understand they did it, they're trying to do it. And so I think that's really important just for support. You're not feeling like you're by yourself, but also accountability if this is, this is what you want to do. So I think that would be really important. That would be my advice.
Very true. Community is key. Whew.
Yes, I definitely think community is important for sure. I think it's important in this whole journey called life. No matter what stage you're in and whatever choices you're trying to choose, like you need community. You need people to help you be accountable for your choices and your decisions. I think it's really remarkable thing that she's doing. I'm not sure if I would broadcast it if I was 39 and a 39-year-old virgin. I probably wouldn't want like that attention for me. But I'm sure there's older people that may be virgins and stuff like that. I don't know if I would want to broadcast it out there though.
Yeah. I mean, and honestly though, I would say in this interview in particular, she didn't bring it up. I think it was mentioned maybe in a previous interview that was like years ago, but literally for the interviewer to ask her, which to me was a personal question to begin with. Are you still a virgin? And then taking a step further, and how old are you now? Are you 39? Like, I mean, at that point she was like, we out here now. We out here. Let me just say what it is. So, but yeah, I mean, I would definitely say community is key. Having people around you that are like-minded, that maintain the same standards as you, because you're going to need that, especially in the world that we live in today, where it's super common to, what they call it, test the milk or buy the milk before you, get the cow. I don't know what the terminology was. Test drive the car before you buy it. I don't know.
Drink the free milk.
There you go.
Purchasing the cow.
There you go. Thank you, Toya. I was like, it's something about a cow or milk. I don't know. But I mean, it's super common today. It's super common to live together, all of that, traveling, all of that. And I like I said, I have my journey, I know how hard it was for me just traveling with my boyfriend, fiance at the time, now husband. And I'm like, look, we're gonna have to make a decision or something, because it gets challenging when you are in close quarters with someone that you have emotional feelings for, that you are becoming attached to and you're attracted to. So I'm just gonna say kudos to her, like for real, for maintaining it this long, and prayer for her soon-to-be husband or future husband, because it's a lot. It's a lot. But I am very impressed with her stance thus far. And I just, pray that God continues to keep her, because it can be very challenging. So
boundaries.
Was she the actress?
Boundaries is good, yes. Oh, go ahead.
Was she the actress in Insecure?
Yes. And actually, I'm glad you bring that up,
Oh,
Latoya.
wow.
She's not the main character. The main character is Issa Rae. She plays her best friend, Molly. And I ain't gonna lie, y'all, I'm a huge Insecure fan. Like, I love the series. When it was on Netflix, I rewatched the series. It's a raunchy series. I'm just gonna tell y'all up front. Don't go watch it like because of me. Don't go watch it at all. But I love the series. So I'm just gonna say that. But that literally would be a question that I would have for her, Latoya, because they have graphic sex scenes on that show.
Yeah.
And
She played some pretty graphic sex
she
scenes.
did. And so my question is like, how do you, because I used to always joke and be like, man, if I was in a love scene with somebody, I'd be trying to slide on my number afterward. Like, so you gonna call me? Like, we just had a moment here, like, you know, but and actors say those moments are awkward just when they're being shot, but still, like,
yeah,
they're intimate to me, at least.
Yeah, I actually read something about her talking about that because she had never engaged in that way, and so someone had to actually tell her how to respond and what to do in some of those sex scene moments. But she didn't really speak to that part that you just said, Maya. So
yeah,
wow,
I would love
that part good.
I would love to ask her. Look, Yvonne, look, we want to talk to you about that for real. How do you navigate that as a virgin, now a 39-year-old virgin? Like, what in the world? So
yeah, that was hard. Yeah,
very, very. So yes, but good question, Toya. So all right, so Yvonne, you know where to find us. We love to continue the conversation. All right, on to the next. So Willie Moore Jr., radio personality for 102.5. He actually just recently started a podcast / talk show called Love You More. And he's had some excellent guests on there. I've only seen a few episodes, but one of his more recent episodes had Candy Burris, Real Housewife of Atlanta, former member of Escape. He interviewed her, and I was like, okay, that'll be an interesting conversation. But when I tell y'all, like, she was dropping some gems, I was like, okay, Candy from Escape. Okay, Candy, all right. Like, literally, and I keep saying in this day and age because I feel like we've had so many conversations about this, Toya, over the past this season, pretty much about women, wanting to marry or be courted by someone that either makes a certain amount of money, they want to be taken a certain place on their first date, the guy has to have a certain type of job, the guy has to have a certain type of car. Like, this list of expectations that single women have these days can be, I'm just going to say, interesting for now. Because to a certain extent, I get it and I understand it, but I am always trying to make sure that, that we don't get caught up in that, where that's not the cake as much as it's the icing. You know what I'm saying? Like, at the end of the day, wanting to make sure that whoever you decide to do life with, that they have character, that they are Christ-like, that they're a follower of Jesus Christ, that, they have integrity, that they are consistent, that they can love you unconditionally, love you as Christ loves the church. Like, that's the cake right there. But I think in this day and age, like, we're making the cake other things. And so she did a great job of just kind of talking about her personal situation with her and her husband. I forget how many years they have been married, but she basically just said that when she and her husband first got together, her mother had a problem with them dating or being together because she made more money than him. And so the whole conversation again of, do you marry for money? What does it mean for a husband to be able to take care of his wife? Does he have to make more money than her in order for that to be the case? And she just broke that thing down. She was like, no, she was like, I didn't marry him for his money. I could easily have dated and been with other men that have money. And at the end of the day, it was about them, being pulled in other directions. I was more concerned about their loyalty and commitment to me than about how much money they made. So she was like, I've been there, I've done that. I married Todd because of what we could accomplish together, i.e. purpose, which I'm like, that's huge, because I don't think a lot of people think about marrying for purpose today. And they're incredible business partners, just all the ventures that they've done together. They actually are in the process now of I think, launching the Wiz production on Broadway. And so just being able to work with her husband, she was talking about, has been a gift, and how he's not a slouch. Like, he definitely has a job. He's a producer, I believe, in film and television. But she was like, at the end of the day, I just make more money than him, and that's not an issue for me. So my question to you two is, what would you say to those women who are like, okay, my man needs to make more money than me, and that's just the bottom line? Like, do you agree? Do you disagree? Safe space.
I would tell them they definitely need to reevaluate their values, for sure, because at the end of the day, your money can run out. That should not be top choice of who you're going to date based on their income or their how many dollars they have in their bank account. Like, money can come and money can go. You definitely need to look a little bit deeper inside, to see, what you're bringing to the table too, and the qualities that are gonna last in the long run, like the character of the man, and like when you get sick, who's gonna pray for you? It's not about the money. It's not.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I agree with both of you all. It's not about the money. And it's, I think you limit who you can consider, or who could be the person that would be a good mate for you when you do something like that. I mean, when that's one of your qualifications. So yeah, I definitely agree with both of you all. And I think that even brings the mindset of, that's yours and this is mine. When in marriage, well, I guess it depends on people's belief system, but if you're marrying, it's a covenant between you, that person, and God to become one.
Yeah.
And if you're looking at things that are, character, integrity, work ethic, all these things that are just good qualities, I think that those things, like you all were both saying, are just more important to making a partnership and to making a marriage. So.
Now, I do have to ask, because the Word of God talks about husbands providing for their wives, of course, being leaders of their household, and just taking care of their families. So what do you think that looks like, or how would you define that, especially in a scenario where the woman particularly, or wife particularly, makes more money than the husband?
Well, I mean, that situation is like my reality. As far as, I make more money, but Ryan is still the head of the household. He has the final say when we have to come together to make a decision. And I treat him as the head of the household, like, because that's biblical. No matter if I make more money than he does. Now we collaborate when there's problems. We collaborate to kind of figure out solutions. Sometimes he's made more money than me. I just think, like, I didn't really have that modeled for me. It was something that I had to kind of learn through biblical reading and through other role models that I saw. Oh, that's what it's supposed to look like. I think it's kind of unhealthy when women try to be the heads of the household.
Yeah.
It's stressful.
Very stressful, because it's stressful, and just I'll just leave it as stressful. Go ahead, Lynda. I'm sorry.
No, I mean, I really didn't have anything to add to that. I think that was a really important distinction, that the husband is still the head of the household, that position doesn't change based on what he makes or doesn't make. And so,
yeah.
And really good.
Providing, for me, has never been just about money. There's definitely a financial component to that, where you are contributing and you are caring for your family to ensure their needs are met. Absolutely. But providing, for me, is more, just like what you said a few minutes ago, Latoya, you need somebody that's going to cover you in prayer. You need someone that's going to speak into your life. Like all of that to me is provision as well, because literally they're basically covering you and in allowing you and equipping you and in supporting you in a way where you can go out and do and be what God has called you to be. But there's a covering that God has designed men to bring to their household that far supersedes financial stability. I mean, that is a part of it, I believe, but at the same time, wisdom even in how to steward the finances that are in your household, it is a part of provision, because you can make all the money in the world, but if you don't effectively know how to invest it and spend it and use it and maximize it and steward it, then okay, you're in the same boat as the person that's, on the corner somewhere. So
right.
Provision to me is far greater than money. So, but yeah, I feel like this is an ongoing conversation that continues to surface, and I feel like we're obligated, honestly, to continue talking about it, because I don't want single women to be sold a bad bill of goods where basically you've got married women, they already have their Boaz, they already have their children, their spouse, or whatever, their careers, talking about, well, you need to do this, and I'm a boss here and I'm a boss there. And I'm like, okay, is this helping these single women actually get a man of God? Or are you just showing them how to be independent women that can potentially be pushing away prospective husbands? So I want to make sure that we continue to speak truth and to share biblical principles as it relates to this. So, but yes, that concludes what's trending. So I'm going to turn it on over to my partner in crime.
All right. So, Lynda, if you can share with the Becoming Eva audience just a little bit about you and your family and how you grew up.
Okay. I'll start with growing up. So I grew up in Chicago. So I'm a city girl. Grew up, parents were together. Talking about this subject, actually, my dad, he was a teacher and a coach, and my mother, she actually was a stay-at-home mom until I was maybe 16 years old. And pretty, it looked like from the outside in, pretty typical environment. I had two brothers. I'm in the middle. So grew up there, spent most of my life there in Chicago, and went to school I actually went to college for finance, and then I have an MBA. So I have this kind of non-linear route to where I've ended up. But right now I'm in Georgia, and I have two kids. They're both college students. One is a sophomore, one is a senior. And so I am a newly empty nester. So it's a little bit about.
Congratulations.
What'd you say?
Congratulations.
Oh, yeah. You know what? Parenting doesn't end, though. It just changes.
Wow.
It's just.
So I've heard.
Yeah, it's still not like a walk in the park just yet. So.
Can you share a little bit with how you started developing your relationship with God, like your personal relationship?
Sure. Well, I don't remember not going to church. So I started off just, that was part of my life, but I accepted, I accepted Christ at probably about 11 or 12 years old. I remember thinking, I need to make a decision, and I believe in God, and I did believe that Christ died on the cross for me. And so I believed that. And so I made that. And back then, well, even now, maybe it was joining the church. So I've never been joining the church. But that's not really where relationships started for me, because I joined the church and I made that decision that I believed it. But I don't think I knew what relationship was. So as a 12-year-old, probably to early 20s, I don't think I really had a good grasp of what that was. I kind of rejoined it, and then I just went back to doing all the stuff I was doing anyway. I went to church on Sunday, I went to school. And so that wasn't really, maybe it was happening in a really, really slow way, but it wasn't intentional. I didn't know how to do it. I just thought I was supposed to be good. And so probably led me down some roads that may not have been too productive. But 23, something happened. I was in a situation I had to trust God. I knew to call on God, I knew to pray to God, and he showed up. You know, I was in another country by myself and for months, and I was in a situation and I needed God, and he showed up, and that really turned things around for me. So I would say relationship really started probably early 20s, like 23, when I was in that situation. And then from there, I started to really develop relationship.
Wow. So you kind of walked us through how your relationship with God evolved over the years.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about how your passion developed over time?
And you mean passion? You mean like what I'm doing right now?
Yeah. How did you discover that was your passion?
Yeah, that was interesting. I try not to make it too long, but I didn't really know. I started off in business and I was in HR and doing all these things, and I just always felt like I was a square peg in a round hole. Like I just never really felt like I fit in the things that I was trying to do. And so I tried all these different things even before that point, and it just didn't feel right. And I remember talking to God about it, and I felt like he said, you know, I mean, I don't know, maybe it was my own brain, but, you know, I have something better for you, right? But it didn't come right away. Like I was in my early 30s when that happened, and I ended up staying home with my kids, and just kind of even during that time, taking the time to pray about it and think about it. And then actually, when I moved here, I started to have ideas of what I might want to do. I was thinking social work, psychology, ministry, like, what is it? What is it? And I still didn't hear God say go. And then I actually ran across a book that was really helpful. So it was in a thrift store, and it's called Cure for the Common Life by Max Lucado.
Okay.
And so that was really helpful, because you do an inventory in this book about all the things you can remember when you were in your sweet spot. So from the time you were 5 or your earliest memory to present, when were you in your sweet spot? What were you doing? And so do this inventory. So anyway, that kind of helped a little bit. And then I joined a church here. We had to meet with the pastor to find our ministry. And he started telling me about a school that his wife went to for Christian counseling. And so after that meeting, I looked it up. When I looked it up on the website, it was just like, I don't know if you ever had that moment where you're like,
yes,
this is it. It was a faith-based counseling program. So it wasn't even just counseling. It was like, I need to go to this school.
Yes.
The info session was like within the next week. I went. I was like, this is unreal. You know, dean of counseling did praise and worship. You know, like it was just a interesting. So I just felt like, okay, I need to. And so that was kind of it, and just kind of following the yellow brick road a little bit, you know. And then I did that. I loved school. I loved that program. I loved that it was faith-based, you know, and then I also enjoyed the counseling part. So yeah, that was kind of it. It was just like piece by piece, little by little. And here I am.
Now, what made you choose to start your own practice?
So, which is interesting, because I never wanted to do that. That's not what I went to school. That's not what I thought I was going to do. But I was in the hospital environment. It was a little stressful, a little, not quite. I did it because it was really, really good experience. It was really good to learn there and learn from those therapists and have a community of therapists in the hospital, and psychiatric nurses and psychiatric, and then psychiatrists, and then just it was a team, but it wasn't. I didn't really enjoy the group. Everything's group work. It wasn't any one-on-one. And I really wanted to do more one-on-one work. I wanted to work with women. And so, I just wanted to, that wasn't a long-term option for me based on how I was feeling in that environment.
So when you discovered your passion and started developing it, how long did it take for you to actually really start practicing? From like the time that you said you went to the you said it was a website?
Yeah. Someone told me about the school, so I went to their website.
So how long was it from the time that you saw it on the website until the time that you started practicing?
Yeah, so saw it on the website. That was in the summer. I started that fall, the program.
Oh wow, that was quick.
Yeah, it was quick. It was just like, bam. And I got my letters, like the letters were good, and so I started that fall. It's a 3-year program. So from that time, 3 years to graduate, and then you have to get licensed. That takes probably 3 to 5 years based on how much you work. So 3 or 4 years. So it's about a 6-year process. You can work while you have just an associate license, which you can get out of school. You've taken the test, you've done all the coursework and all of that. You can get an associate license test for that. But the full licensure, so between that and school, it was 6 years. But I started school pretty much within a couple of months, 3 months. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
You knew, because that's a commitment. But you knew, and like you said, when you went to the website, something in you just kind of jumped and said, "This is it." So, that's awesome.
It was a good combo of what I was looking for.
Yes, I love it. Now, you talked about your practice specifically, or wanting to focus more so on women in particular, but can you talk specifically about how you now use what you're passionate about through your practice to support those that are around you?
Well, depends on, those around me, but I do want to do more ministry related things. But it was interesting this past couple of weeks. I was like, did I go to school so that I could be a better daughter, a better mother, a better sister, a better wife? Because it did have an impact on just who I was and what I bring to those situations. I don't counsel those people, but I'm a different person because that process that I went through. Because being in a counseling program helps you to be a counselor, but it also causes they also kind of push you to go inward a little bit. You have to dig, you have to assess your family and assess what's going on with you. And it's like, you kind of got to look at your stuff too.
Yeah.
You start helping other people, so it's a lot of that happens, learning to listen, learning to just be completely present with someone in a space, so that has helped me just in relationships outside of work.
Yeah. So when it comes to your clientele, like your sweet spot of clientele, like what do you most enjoy helping them with or support? How do you most enjoy supporting them, I should say?
So, I have on my website women, but I see anyone if I think I can help them. So, I do have some men clients, or I have. But I think you asked me about my sweet spot.
Yeah, like your sweet spot of specialty as far as what you love helping with, or providing expertise.
So I do love working with women. I have a lot of women of color that I work with. I love working with, so I work a lot with depression, anxiety. So just kind of some of the mood disorders, also relationship issues, even though I don't work with couples, but I work with the person that comes in and just how, communicating and and just kind of relating better to the people in their lives. And so I enjoy that as well. So also like life transitions, when people are kind of shifting from one thing to another, maybe there's a lack of community or they're feeling really isolated. So just like, I really do like coming alongside women to help them with the things that they're struggling with, stress. And, so I find myself dealing a lot with, like I said, the relationship issues, even though I'm dealing with an individual. So boundaries and codependency and just, that's kind of been a big part of what a lot of people come in and talk to me about.
Wow.
Do you find yourself kind of diagnosing or analyzing like your friends or like family members now that you like have this knowledge? Do you find yourself being like, oh, she's struggling with depression, she don't know it, or you know what I mean? Like, do you
I know what you mean. It's fun. Yeah, it's funny because people think I do that and I really don't. Like, I'm like, it's just too much work. I'm not really trying to figure you out. The only time I might do that is the same way you might do it. Like, you see somebody at the store and you're like, something's going on with them. I might have more of insight, like what I think is really going on. But I don't really look at my friends like that. And, I don't even sit with them with the counseling hat. A lot of them knew me way before I did that. So I don't do that. I do find that some people will call me, that friends, and like, XYZ is going on. And it's hard for me to shift into that with them because I'm in friend mode. So it's like a different mode for me, whether I'm in friend mode or, counselor mode. But yeah, no, I don't really do that too much.
That's probably healthy, honestly, because like you just talked about boundaries and how you yourself have to set boundaries where you like, that's too much work. I'm off. Look, I'm trying to have fun. I'm trying to spend time with so-and-so. Like, I'm not trying to diagnose. So that's good. Or even like, I have a good friend who's an attorney, and she was like, people are always trying to get free advice from her, free legal advice. And I'm like, and I get it. We all have situations, but having to remind ourselves that, at the end of the day, that's someone's work, that's their profession. And so it really requires them to kind of flip a switch or be in a different frame of mind that they may not want to be in when they're with their friends and family. So, yeah.
Yeah. And I just can't, I wouldn't ask my mother or my daughter the same type of questions it's just a different, it's just a different mode of operating. I have a relationship with you already. So yeah, I know too much. It's tricky.
Wow. Good stuff. Well, I know we may have some people in the BE community that are like, hey, is she taking clients? We're going to get your contact information at the end. So anybody that wants to reach out. But yes, let's transition on into talking about the gift of gratitude and actually unwrapping it. Again, I mentioned earlier that November is the month of National Gratitude. Is it National Gratitude Appreciation? But National Gratitude Month, I'll say that. And so really want to look at what that entails, because I always use the phrase that gratitude is a game changer. And we talk about, when you think of gratitude, it can be deemed as something super simple or something that we easily overlook. But at the same time, I think it's a tool that God has given us that we don't always activate as often as we should. So let me start. I'm just going to go base level with you and ask, how do you define gratitude?
Yeah. So I define it as really just a deep appreciation for something you've received or a person, but just kind of that deep appreciation that lingers a little bit longer than, maybe thankfulness. Yeah.
That's good. I didn't catch the delineation between gratitude and thankfulness, but there is. So I love that. Okay. Yeah. And so that's the definition. Why do you think it's important for us to cultivate a life of gratitude?
So I think that it has an impact on our well-being, our health, our mental health, our physical health, our relationships, our ability to be resilient. And so I think it just overall has a positive impact on how we exist and move in the world, with people. And so, it can have an impact on, depression and our immune system and ability to sleep well. And so maybe not, okay, I did it this week and now it's better, but, over time, it can have this kind of impact, and it helps you to learn how to, scan your environment, and survey your environment for the positive,
I love that.
Yeah.
Is there a particular time of year or when do you think is most important to exercise gratitude in our lives?
Honestly, I think all the time, and that doesn't mean necessarily every day. I think that if we have some type of consistency with it, and whether it's once a week, that we're intentional about it. But I think what fits in with your life. So, if you decide you're going to do it 3 weeks, not 3 weeks, 3 days a week, maybe stick with that. Once a week, that seems like good. Stick with that. I think that if we implement it intentionally into our lives throughout the year, I think it can benefit us. I think that, it just, I was thinking about, scripture, and I was thinking about, Paul and just his ability to be content, whether he had a lot or a little.
Amen.
And so I think it can help us to be in that space,
That's good. I'm just still honestly like wrapping my brain around the fact that you said gratitude can impact our sleep, our immune system, like our mental state of mind. Like I kind of go as far as to say our mental state of or our state of mind. But when you start talking about like the physical components of how it impacts us physically as well, like that is amazing. That is amazing.
Yeah. A lot of times I think the way we think about it, we separate our body from, but it's all our body. Right? This is like the control system. This is like the control center, so it's all our body, and how we think about things does have an impact on how we live our lives. And just, I also think about the scripture of renewing our minds, right? And that's kind of what it is in a sense. It's a small part, but thinking about things differently, it has an impact on, how, on our bodies, what we hold, because like things like trauma and, negative anger and all that, those things we hold in our body. And so the other thing we can hold in our body too.
That's good. That's really good. Well, y'all, I really want this time to be engaging and practical and applicable. That's the word I was thinking of. And interactive. So if you're listening and, if you're driving, that's fine. You can pause it or come back to this. But if you are listening and you are in a position where you can grab your journal or you can grab your phone, something where you can capture information, Lynda is actually going to lead us through a couple of exercises on how we can implement gratitude in our lives on a more consistent basis. Because, I don't want you to walk away thinking, okay, I need to be more grateful. Well, I'm grateful for this. I'm grateful for that. Like, what does that really look like for you to actually consistently practice gratitude in your day-to-day lives? So, Lynda, if you could just, take us through. I'm excited.
Okay, so one thing I have we're going to do is it's a gratitude reflection. And so we're going to do that. And then we're also going to there's some writing. So a lot of times, with gratitude, it is important to articulate those things that we feel grateful for, not just think it. We want to think it, but if we think it and then write it, or think it and then, speak it, I think it has a greater impact. But anyway, so the first thing is this gratitude reflection. So this is kind of part of just kind of a meditation, and a sense of that kind of contributes to a sense of self-awareness. So, I just need you all to settle yourself in a comfortable position. Okay, we're going to take a few deep, calming breaths. Exhale. Take another deep breath. Just relax and center yourself. Let your awareness move to your immediate environment. All the things you can smell, taste, touch, see, and hear. And just say to yourself, for this, I am grateful.
Yes.
Next, bring to mind those people in your life to whom you are close. Your friends, your family, your spouse, your partner. Bring those to mind and to yourself say, for this, I am grateful.
For this, I am grateful.
Next, turn your attention onto yourself. You're a unique individual, blessed with imagination, the ability to communicate, to learn from the past and plan for the future, and to overcome any pain you might be experiencing. Say to yourself, for this, I am grateful.
For this, I am grateful.
Finally, rest in the realization that life is a precious gift, that you have been born into a period of immense prosperity, that you have the gift of health, culture, and well-being. And say to yourself, for this, I am grateful.
For this,
I am grateful.
You take another deep breath. Exhale. And slowly come back and open your eyes. Okay. So that was the end of that. So that's just a meditation, something you can do to just really bring it. The thing is, I think we move so fast that sometimes we don't even take the time to sit with ourselves. And the thing about different practices, everything may not be the thing. Like someone might do that and be like, yeah. And that's okay, right? That's okay. You find the things that are good for you, but it's important that whatever you do, you at least try to practice it. It's like, saying we want to run a marathon, but we never go out for a run, so you have to practice whatever it is you want to change. So the other thing I have, of course, you can get a journal, and there's often, you can, write down the things that you're grateful for. The one thing I want to say about journaling, because what we're going to do, I have some specific questions, but what I want to say about journaling, everybody doesn't like writing, so you can write, or you can voice record, whatever, you feel is best for you. But the thing I think is important is being specific. I think sometimes, I'm grateful for my house. I'm grateful for my, my family. I'm grateful, but being specific, I think is really helpful. So, I'm grateful for my mother because she came and helped me with the kids, and that really was a blessing for me. So being specific about what you feel grateful for and not just running through the list is really helpful. So the next thing we're going to kind of go through just different categories. So this one is just thinking about different areas of your life and what you might be grateful. So we're going to just do one thing in each category. So, and like I said, helpful, I don't know if we have the time to be specific. So the first thing is people. Is there a person that I feel grateful for? And if you have an example of something specific, you can write that down. A second thing would be my good qualities. Is there one thing that you can think of that you're grateful for? What is one of your good qualities? And I'll do one more because I know we have time, but the best part of my day. It can be big, it can be small. So, Latoya, was it easy coming up with your thoughts for each of those, or?
I thought so.
Okay, good. Maya?
I enjoyed it. Yeah, for the specific, the list that we just did, that was fairly easy. When we were, for the first exercise though, when we were envisioning, like I was trying to be specific about envisioning certain people. And I was like, wow, God, like, I mean, you've blessed me with a lot of people, but at the same time, I think actually envisioning them kind of required a level of vulnerability from me that I wasn't necessarily prepared for it or expecting in that moment, where I was like, "Ooh, I have to admit that I'm grateful for this person." Like, if that makes sense. I don't know if that sounds. It probably, well, it is pride. Lord help me, but it just in that moment, I was like, "Oh Lord, like this is a level of vulnerability or humility even that I was not anticipating in that moment." So yeah, that's what came to the surface for me though.
Okay, so that's interesting that those people would pop up for you that you felt like, do I really have to? Okay. No, it's interesting that they would still be the ones to pop up in your mind. Okay. Yeah, so you all already, each of you already have a practice or something that you do?
I would say for me, I do a lot of journaling, and in my time with God, I kind of counteract moments or times in my life when I'm either questioning God or even feeling like I'm experiencing lack. it's in those moments that I try to exercise gratitude the most, by literally writing down everything that I'm grateful for and thanking God in that way. So that's probably what I do consistently. But just that quieting yourself, that breathing in and out, like I try to incorporate that throughout my day because it just settles me. And just like what you were saying initially, the fact that you can see, can smell, can taste, can feel, that you are able to engage with this world that we live in is a gift. And so that I do on a consistent basis just because it grounds me. But in my personal time with God, I do write a lot of what I'm thankful for.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I do not have a consistent practice.
Okay. Oops.
No.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Okay.
Gratitude is calling, y'all. Gratitude is calling. No.
Yeah.
But these are great exercises, I think, for anyone to, like you said, at least try and see. If you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. But at least you can say you tried it. And, if you do like it and say, hey, I benefited from that, this is something that you can try to incorporate in your life on a consistent basis. So I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Well, let me ask, any tips that you can give to someone that is trying to be more intentional about exercising gratitude regularly in their lives on a consistent basis?
Yeah. I mean, I would say, I was, like I said, everybody doesn't like to write, but I would say, first of all, get a journal, get somewhere that you can, write into, you can write it down. Maybe start off with one day, start off with one day, and maybe one thing, so I think in order to start a habit, sometimes don't throw it in like, okay, I gotta come up with 10 things every day for the rest of the month. No, let's start small. One day, maybe one day a week, I spend 10 minutes on this. And, that I think of one thing and be specific and try to at least be consistent with that one day and be specific about that thing. Take a walk, you can do things without writing. So take a walk and without music and podcasts and all of that. I know this is a podcast, but still, just being able to be quiet and just observe the, nature and the things that are around you, just kind of a moment to slow down a little bit. And then sometimes we think about, okay, the things that are, the great things that are happening, but sometimes it's thinking back and saying, I'm glad that didn't happen. I'm glad that was prevented. And so sometimes those are things we can reflect on as well. And if you're a Christian, reading your Bible, that reminds us, I think, so much of things we can be grateful for. So I think that's I found an Instagram that was called gratefulness.me. And I thought that was really good.
Okay. Cool. And I felt like, Toya, we have not done this in a while, but I felt a BE challenge coming on as she was talking. I was like, whoa, I think this is a great time for a BE challenge where we challenge the BE community to incorporate one of these gratitude exercises in your life at least once a week. For the month of November, or if you're listening to this at a different time, pick a month and try to incorporate it at least once a week, and go from there. But I think that would be a great BE challenge for this.
Yes, I love it.
Yeah. Also, you can write a little note or a letter to someone that you appreciate.
Oh, I love that one too.
Yeah. That would be a gratitude exercise.
That's a good one. The person that we wrote for the second exercise, that might be a great place to start. So.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Good stuff. I love it. All right. Well, shall we go into top picks?
Yes. So, Lynda, do you have any books or podcasts that you would recommend as it relates to cultivating gratitude or personal wellness in general?
So the one I mentioned, the gratefulness.me was like kind of specific to gratitude.
Okay.
That was Instagram. Some other Instagrams that I follow, Dr. Anita Phillips.
Oh, yes.
That's more wellness and mental health, cross section of that, and faith. Nedrick Glover Tawab, Dr. Rita Walker. So these aren't specifically gratitude, but it's wellness. Gifts of Imperfection, Brene Brown. It's a good book. So yeah, that's kind of, those are pretty much kind of what I watch and listen to. And
can you share too the name of the book that you referenced earlier? You found it
Cure for the Common Life by Max Lucado.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I was definitely interested in that one when she said it.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
And into it.
Yes, and can you share how other people can connect with you if they're watching this?
Sure. I would say the best thing is through my website. So my website is lyndacarpenter.com, and there's my phone number's on there. My email is on there. Email is lynda@lindamcarpenter.com. M, actually.
Oh, let me change that. M,
yeah. So those would be the best ways, so they can contact me through those ways if they are interested in sessions or anything like that.
Awesome. I have really enjoyed this. I feel refreshed and renewed. We were both talking about how it has been a long week, but you have given breathed a little more life into my day. So thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Huh. Well, you all, and of course, as we're talking about handles and everything, don't forget to, like, subscribe, support Becoming Eva as well. We've got merch. Actually, we were just talking about how we're rocking our Women of Noble Character shirts.
Okay, well, those are nice.
Okay, so you can check those out on our website, becomingevatoday.com. And yeah, like, follow, subscribe, all those great things at Becoming Eva Today. And we're here to support. So let us know how we can support you. Feel free to slide in the DMs if you got some suggestions. We're here for that too. So good stuff.
Yes. And don't forget to join us next week for our season finale. Girl Talk season finale, season 7. It will be a wrap. So join us next Saturday.
Yes, and we will see y'all next time.
See you soon.
See you soon.
Enjoy y'all. Thank